Alright, so I decided, since I'm just outside chilling, enjoying this beautiful weather. It's like 76 degrees, 75 degrees, just nice, not too hot, not too cold. I'm out here with, y'all see my chunky boy, he's relaxing as well. I have so many story times, but this story time I actually spoke about, this particular situation I actually spoke about not too long ago, and I think I mentioned it during a Louis Vuitton unboxing. I think that was the video, right? Okay, so I'm just home from work. I might look a little crazy to y'all, but it is what it is, okay? We put a little cute little filter on here with some little pink little glowy things. Let's get into it. So as the title says, my cousin stole my Louis Vuitton bag. All right, I'm going to try to make this a not like super long story time, but chill. My life is crazy and has been crazy. Family, friends, like it's just crazy. All right, so I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to try not to mention people's real names, and I'm going to try not to make it so negative, although this shit is negative. But anywho, all right. So let's say maybe 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago, I was young, working multiple jobs, doing multiple things to secure my future, to secure my income, things like that. I've always been into nicer things, luxury things that I could afford in my budget. I come from a large family on both sides of my family. My mom and my dad both had large families. I had a lot of cousins growing up. I wasn't close to everybody. People lived different places. Some family didn't get along with other families, so sometimes that interfered with the kids, cousins and stuff, being able to kind of just be cousins, so to speak. Anywho, I was closer to my mom's side of the family. Like those cousins I kind of grew up with until like my late teenage years, when we kind of all started to become adults and, make grown-up decisions, and we kind of like separated from each other. But as children, we were together for the most part, like sleeping over each other's houses, playing, all that sort of things that cousins do. All right, so I want to say, I don't remember exactly what job I was working, but I had always wanted a Louis Vuitton bag. What is your problem? What are you barking at? I forgot where I was talking. The dog started barking. All right, so I think I left off with, I was working. I had always wanted like a designer bag. I'm into, I've always been into like luxury things. Even as a kid, when I couldn't afford the shit, I always liked the nicer things because my mom had luxury bags. My aunts had luxury bags. Like my uncles always were, in the freshest, dippest things. So I think part of my reason for liking a lot of the nicer stuff is because I was exposed to that stuff at a young age, and I understood like the background, you know what I mean? And when you have nicer things, you feel good, okay? That's just what it is. That's why people, they can't afford the real stuff. They go out and buy the fake stuff because they're looking for a feeling, they're looking for that, oh, I got this luxury item. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? Because when I couldn't afford real shit, I have purchased, replica stuff, but we'll get into that at another time. My friend is back, you guys. Y'all be thinking I'm bullshitting when I tell you they come to visit me and it's the same birds. Hello, sweetheart. Good evening. Hi. How are you? You looking good? There's a bunch of birds in these trees. Some make themselves known, like this little one. And then there's the cardinal. We'll see if we can get the cardinal tonight before it gets dark. I'm gonna leave you alone, okay? Have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow maybe, okay? Okay? Bye. Okay, so I was like 25, 26. This actually was like right before I got married, right? So I was really rebuilding like a relationship with my cousins, like some of them, as we were no longer kids, we were adults, and everybody was kind of just, trying to figure it out. Most of my cousins had children young, so their lifestyle was a little different than mine, but it didn't matter. We still tried to do like the whole cousin thing, you know what I mean? We would try to meet up and go out to eat or go to like great adventures and stuff like that, just to kind of keep the cousin relationship close, right? So it was cool like for a really long time. And for those of you familiar with my channel, I'm sure you have heard me mention before that in my family, even though I'm not the oldest, I am one of the oldest, and I always felt the need to like set a standard or set the example for the younger ones under me, because I always felt that they were looking at me, like everything that I did, like, so I always was just very conscious of trying to always do like the right thing. If y'all see my eyes distracted, I live in a magical kingdom and it's like always stuff flying by or catching my eye, so I apologize. It's beautiful here. Anywho, so next time I'm gonna turn it, I'm gonna turn the chair that way now. Hold on. Isn't that better? It's like a much better background than my door or whatever. Anywho, so I try to be someone that my cousins, my brother, my younger brother could look up to and say, oh, she's working really hard. She's going to school. This is what we need to do. This is the blueprint that we need to follow. There were definitely adults in my life who, our lives, I feel, have dropped the ball on several occasions as far as what they should have been doing for the younger people. So even though I was still very young, I just didn't want to be a failure, you know what I mean? Or I didn't want the younger people up under me to see another person basically mess up their life or to do stupid shit and have to pay for it. You understand? So I'm not going to say that it was pressure, but for me, just for myself, and especially for my younger brother, I had to set the standard, right? So this means that, and also for myself, like I just wanted more out of my life than, what everybody else in the hood was doing. That I just was never gonna be. I knew that I was never gonna be the hood chick that gets caught up and have mad baby daddies and couldn't finish school and get stuck doing like these low budget jobs that wasn't paying enough money. I don't have education. Like that just was not gonna be me. And it's no shade to anybody who may have gotten caught up, because life is life, right? But I made certain decisions in my life to not have to go that path, because I had seen it so many times, and I also saw what that brought, which was most of the time you get trapped, you get stuck, you can't do but so much in your life, because these things put you in a predicament, So for me, it was just like, we're gonna try our hardest to do the right thing. We're going to try our hardest to work our asses off and work our magic. Listen, we smart. We got a few things going for ourselves. Like, we are not trying to get caught up in this hood life, you know? Okay, so 25 years old, whatever, I was working. I had just, well, not just, I had been working the current career that I have now, but it was still like the first few years, but I was making more money than I had ever made in my life. And it was steady money. You know, I always was getting a check, and we used to get bonuses. And plus I was working other jobs and going to school. So I always had me a little piece of change in my pocket, right? So I used to work in a high-end mall. And in that mall, there was Gucci, Louis, you know, all the high-end stores, right? And I could have worked in Gucci, but I forget. I think the hours that they wanted me to work conflicted with my school schedule. So I ended up not working in Gucci. But I'm going to tell you the reason why I wanted to work in Gucci was because they were getting 50% discount off of any bags that they purchased. I was like 50%. And to me, Gucci was more affordable than Louis Vuitton. You could get a Gucci bag for under $1,000 and a nice Gucci bag, right? So I had thought about working in Gucci, but just the hours didn't work for my school schedule. And what did I ended up? I ended up working in Crate and Barrel, and then I ended up working in Banana Republic. Banana Republic was the best pay, and they were the most agreeable to the schedule that I wanted to work, you know. So that was like the job that I ended up taking in this luxury mall. But I had friends that had worked in Gucci and Louis Vuitton, right? So they would, when I would meet up with my friends, you know, they always had like the cutest little bags or whatever. But remember, I don't know what the discount was in Louis Vuitton, but I know my friend that was working in Gucci, she was getting her bags for 50% off. I also, once I got me money and my bills were paid, I ended up having her buy me some of the Gucci bags that I wanted, because she was getting a 50% discount. So why the hell would I not take advantage of her 50% discount? So I have I ain't gonna tell you how many Gucci bags I got, but I got a few Gucci bags, and I got great deals on them because I was able to use somebody else's discount. And I don't give a shit how much money you have. You should always be trying to save as much money as you can, and if you could get a bargain, right? So the same thing didn't apply to Louis Vuitton, because Louis Vuitton, I forget, their rules were a lot stricter. Is that a word? A lot more strict. I don't know if stricter is a word. I have to look it up. But anyway, I'll just say their Louis Vuitton rules were a lot more strict for their employees. So I don't think that my friend that worked in Louis Vuitton was able to get me the bag that I wanted for a discount. So I had set my intentions, right? It was, I remember in the 90s, the Louis Vuitton Damier Bean print they was making it in like the totes, right? Now I knew like some, I don't want to say drug dealers. I don't know what to call them, but you know, people in the hood, they got a little bit of money. They ain't working no 9 to 5. Okay, so those type of people, right? So this guy that I knew, his girlfriend, she always had the best luxury designer stuff. But she was super cool too. She wasn't even like a stuck-up chick, nothing like that. She used to show mad love to like people in the hood or whatever. I just loved her style and fashion. It was luxury, but it wasn't overly broadcasted. You know how like some people that have the money to buy these luxury things, everything that they wear is luxury. Like, it's just like oversaturated. Like, you have on everything Louis Vuitton, you have on everything Moncler, you have on everything Gucci. Like, I don't know. And then you in the hood, like, I don't know, it just was kind of corny to me. With her, she was just very classy. Like, she would have on maybe like all black, and then she would have a cute Louis Vuitton bag, or she would have on like Louis Vuitton boots, and then like, you know, a nice bright colored dress or whatever. I just loved her style. So one day I ran into her maybe at the corner store or something like that, and at this time I was grown, but I was still, and I didn't live in Brooklyn, but I was still in and out of Brooklyn because my family lived in Brooklyn, and I would go to Brooklyn to hang out or whatever. So I ran into her, and I remember asking her what bag was that she was carrying. And I remember her saying, oh, this is the Louis Vuitton Damier bean or whatever, I think. Oh, I'm not sure if that's how she pronounced it or whatever. And I was like, I love that bag. It was, the tote style bag. And I was like, I absolutely love that bag. I was like, one day I'm going to have that bag or whatever. She was like, oh, you could get this bag. It's not that expensive, right? So I was like, well, how much is it? And then at that time, I think that it basically was the same price that it is now. I think it was like either $1,100 or $1,200, something like that. They have the small, medium, and a large, but I don't know what size she had, but I think she said it was like $1,200. And I remember thinking, like, $1,200? You don't think that that's a lot of money? Like, you don't think that $1,200 is a lot of money for a bag? But it just depends on what level you're on, what is expensive to you. To me, I wasn't on that level yet to be able to go out and just give the money, all money at one time, to Louis Vuitton and not have other things to worry about. Her situation was different, so $1,200 I guess wasn't a lot to her, especially if her man had mad money. Like, it wasn't a thing, right? So I just remember I couldn't get the bag out of my head. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have that bag. Yo, I love that bag. I love that bag so much. And I remember just putting a little bit of money aside. Every check I got, remember, I had multiple jobs. I was putting a little bit of money aside. Sometimes it was $25. Sometimes it was $50. Sometimes it was $100. If, my mom or somebody would hit me for my birthday, or at the time, he was my boyfriend, would give me a little bit of change. Before I knew it, you guys, I had the money. And I had written on an envelope, for my Louis bag. And when I had enough money, actually had more than enough money, because I just forgot. Like, I just kept putting money into this envelope, a little piece of change here, a little piece of change there. And when I actually counted the money, I had so much money. I'm like, oh, I could get a wallet, I could get this, right? Now, here's the crazy thing. Once I had the money, and it took me like a few months, right, to save, let's just say like $1,700, $1,700, something like that. Just putting little pieces of change together at 25. It took me a minute to even want to spend the money, right? Because it was like, yo, I done worked so hard to save up this money, and now I'm gonna go spend all this money on a bag. Like, I was just like, it just didn't seem right. It just seemed like you could do so much more with this money. And of course, being the person that I am, I'm thinking like, oh, I could take this money and split it amongst my cousins, right? And then I thought to do that. And then I was like, you know what, Crystal? You have to stop doing this. Like, you save for this bag. You have put your intentions out there. You wanted this bag. Who cares that it's a bag? It's something that you want. It's something that you worked for. It's something that you took responsibility for, to make a plan to get it. You're gonna go get this bag. And this is what I had to tell myself. And it still took me, I want to say, a few months to even take the money to go get the bag, right? Finally, I was like, all right, I'm ready. I was so excited to go and purchase this bag. I was like so happy, like, oh, I had all this money, I'm gonna have me a luxury designer bag. It ain't bootleg. I don't gotta worry about it falling apart, smelling like gasoline, the coloring coming off. I'm gonna tell y'all a story time about my situations with replica bags at some other time. But anywho, so I go, in my mind, I thought, again, I'm young, I'm 20-some years old. I'm thinking, you got to go into Louis Vuitton looking a certain way, because even though I always dressed nice, you know what I mean? At 25, I was a whole grown woman, and my tomboy phase was done, because at like 15, 16, 17, I was still wearing Timbs and baggy jeans and shit like that. But at 25, I had matured, and I was, like, wearing grown-up clothes. But I remember thinking, like, oh, you have to look a certain way. You're going to go in there. You don't want them judging you, and ba-ba-ba. And I remember the girlfriend that actually worked there. She was like, girl, listen, the people that really got money, they're not coming up in here dressed up. And I remember my mind thinking, well, I ain't one of those people, because I ain't got it like that. But at the same time, I just remember thinking, like, who am I trying to impress? Like, I'm me. I'm gonna be me. I shouldn't have to dress up to go buy a bag with my money. Like, y'all money gonna spend regardless. It's gonna be, y'all gonna take this money or not? So I would just remember her telling me that, like, oh, the people that have the most money, Crystal, they not coming up in here looking all fancy. They usually look like they poor, homeless, dusty, dirty, whatever, and they're the ones in here buying 4 and 5, bags at a time. And I just thought about that. I was like, that's interesting, So when it was time for me to buy my bag, I wasn't dirty and dusty, but I didn't overdo it. I didn't walk in there looking like, I just got an inheritance or something and I came to collect. I was just mad regular. But I had did like all my research. I had known like the size of the bag. I knew which one I wanted. All of that, right? So I had went with a few of my cousins, right? So this was like an experience for all of us, because even though like our parents had luxury shit, when they were coming up, we didn't. We never had no like luxury bags or nothing like that, and they damn sure wasn't gonna be buying it for us. So we all had went, and I just remember like my cousins being so like happy, to like walk around Louis Vuitton and just like check out the bags or whatever. And this is in the 2000s, right? And then I was expecting to be profiled. You know what I mean? Like I just expected us to go in there and for people to be judging us or to, act like we didn't belong. But that didn't happen, to my surprise. Here we go. We were treated very well. It was a great experience. I thought that they were very helpful. And, oh, God. I was actually, sorry, you guys, they're doing firecrackers. They scaring the birds. I'm glad I took my dog in, actually. And I had a great experience. I spent my own money. I got my first Louis Vuitton bag. I know I'm giving y'all a lot of background, but y'all know that I like to do that. And I had my bag. I had my Louis Vuitton official bag, that they give you in the store. They boxed it, ribboned it, or whatever the hell they did back then, whatever. I was so freaking happy to have this bag. I felt proud. I felt like a grown up, you know what I mean? I felt like, ooh, I'm that bitch, you know what I mean? Like I had saved, I'm sorry, bug, but to get off of me. I had saved my own money. I had, accomplished a goal, because this is what I wanted, and I did it, right? I was super happy, right? So I rocked that bag forever, like nobody's business. I rocked that bag everywhere I went, all the time, and I loved it. It was just the greatest bag ever, right? So let's fast forward to how my bag got stolen. So one day, one of my cousins, who will remain nameless, was with me. One of the cousins that was with me when we went to go buy the bag had asked me, cause I'm going to this event or something, and I don't remember every single detail, y'all, so bear with me, but cause this was a long time ago. I'm going to an event, it's a little fancy. I need to carry like a nice bag. If you could just let me borrow your Louis Vuitton bag, I'll bring it back. I'll make sure nothing happens, and I was so appreciated, and I love you forever, blah, blah, blah. I did not want to, how you just have like that gut feeling like something bad is going to happen. And in all honesty, you guys, I did not think that I would not get the bag back. It was my cousin. I loved her. I didn't think that she would do me dirty. I didn't think that what transpired would have transpired. I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried that maybe somebody would try to rob her, because this is New York. Like this is just how shit gets crazy in New York. And I didn't feel like she would protect the bag like I would protect the bag, because it wasn't her money. She didn't work for it. She didn't, you know what I mean? Like, this was my bag. This was my very expensive bag that I worked hard for. Like, am I gonna lend it to you? You're not gonna care. You probably put it down if somebody comes and snatches it, and something like that. Those were the thoughts that was actually going through my mind. But she begged me, and I I had to think like hard and long. And I said to myself, you have been blessed, with money, and you have been able to buy this bag. So in my mind, this is what I'm thinking. Like, so you're supposed to bless somebody else, right? So this was my thinking, child. I don't think like that anymore for certain things, but this is how I was thinking, right? Fine. So she came to my house and I gave her the bag. It was in its nice dust bag or whatever, and I'm telling her, and I'm like, yo, seriously, like, I love this bag. This bag costs a lot of money. Please protect this bag with your life. Don't leave it anywhere. You know what I mean? Don't let nobody hold it. If you're in the hood and you in a walking down a strange place, you feel like somebody gonna rob you, like, tuck my shit, put it in your coat. I don't know, whatever you gotta do, but you need to protect my shit. And I said, I want my bag immediately back. Don't go to this event and then think you're going to have the bag for a week, a month. As soon as your event is over, you need to contact me the next day or whatever so that I can get my bag back. This is how I was on it. My cousin was like, oh, you know that, cuz, I'm a hold this bag down. Ain't nobody getting this bag. I just wanted it so I could look cute, whatever. Supposedly, whoever else was going to be at this event, they was like, mean girls, pretty girls, whatever, girls that had a little bit of bread. I don't freaking know. And she wanted to fit in. And she wanted to act like she had the bread that they had. Cool, whatever. You my family, you my cousin. If I got it, you got it. That's at least how I was on it. Y'all. So, she takes the bag, whatever. The event was at night. So I told her to contact me the next morning because I want my bag back, right? The next morning came. I wasn't no hound or no fiend. I wasn't like calling her like 9 o'clock in the morning, like, yo, you got my bag? Yo, I'm outside. Where's my bag? I wasn't doing that. But I want to say like around 12, I still didn't hear from her. We talked about 12 p.m. I still didn't hear from her, right? So I'm like, okay, it was an event that was late at night. She could be sleeping late. Don't be a douche, trying to get your bag back. Like, you don't even know if she's safe and blah, 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 right? I basically waited all day before I reached out. And I was actually hoping that she would have reached out to me because this was the agreement, right? Nah, son. I didn't get a phone call. Nobody flew a kite to send me a message. I didn't get an email. I didn't get shit. There was no communication, yo. Right? So I'm speaking to who's my husband now, but he was my boyfriend then. And he's like, yo, give it 24 hours. Stop beasting. She's not gonna let anything happen to the bag. He's like, oh, I'm sure she's probably drunk. She had a good time. She was at a party, da-da-da. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm letting time pass, whatever. So I actually waited. It was either 2 or 3 days I waited, right? Now I'm fucking livid because you have not contacted me, nothing. I knew she was good. It wasn't even like she was in a ditch and I didn't check on her and all I was worried about was my Louis Vuitton bag. I knew she was good because she was speaking to some of my other cousins. So I'm like speaking to my other cousin and I'm like, yo, you spoke to, whatever. Let's just call her A. These are my neighbors again, doing way too much, y'all. They damn firecrackers coming over here. Anyway, so let's just call her A. So I'm speaking to one of my other cousins, and I'm like, oh, you spoke to A? And they like, yeah. Wow, what's up? I'm like, because she was supposed to call me, and she didn't. And my other cousin was like, oh, well, she good. She been home. She did. Like, she living her regular life. You know what I mean? There's no contact with me. So, like, by the third day, I call her. I don't get an answer. I leave a message. It wasn't a nasty message. It was like, yo, hey, what's up? I hope you're good. Hope you had a good time at the event. Give me a call, right? Hours pass by. I don't get no call. Call one of my other cousins. I'm like, yo, call her. Let me see if she gonna pick up for you. So my cousin that I asked this to, she didn't want to get involved. And I kind of felt like maybe she knew something, but she didn't want to tell me because they never wanted, like my cousins never wanted to like I want to say like disappoint me or have me upset over no bullshit, whatever, because I was a good cousin. I was a good role model. I took care of everybody. Y'all know, like, the one person in the family that basically has busted their ass, the one person in the family that has done well and they take care of everybody. That was me until I learned my lesson, until I woke up, right? So she's like, oh, I don't want to, whatever. I said, yo, call her. I'm not playing. I'm not even playing no more. Like, the nice Crystal went out the door, and then that's when the gully Crystal had to come out. She's like, all right. So we're on fucking three-way because I want to hear if she's going to pick up the phone. My other cousin calls my cousin A. A picks up the phone. Hey, cuz. So I'm on the phone, right? And I was quiet at first. So my other cousin, I guess she's trying to figure out what to say. She's like, A, don't you wanna? And then I just interjected. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, yo, I've been calling you. You haven't had the decency to reach out to me, whatever. So she's like, Crystal? And I'm like, yes, Crystal. She hangs up the phone, y'all. She fucking hangs up the phone. So now I'm like, hello? My other cousin is dying laughing. And I'm like, yo, did she just hang up the phone? And she's like, she did. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to go pay this chick a visit. This chick is my family, is my blood. Like, I shouldn't have to come see you about something that belongs to me, right? So my other cousin was like, yo, I'm gonna come with you, right? I'm like, all right, well, I can't go tonight or whatever, but let's decide when we're gonna go. I'm just gonna show up. I'm telling her, like, do not give her no heads up, no nothing like that. Like, I'm just gonna pop up on her because clearly she's avoided me for whatever reason, right? And to be honest with y'all, I still wasn't thinking that something happened to my bag or whatever. I'm just thinking, like, she want to hold on to the bag, and that's why she's avoiding me, because she wants to continue to rock it, right? Which is cool, but it's not your bag, it's my bag, and I let you hold it for the amount of time that I felt comfortable with, and now you trying to play me, right? Okay, so fast forward, whatever day we go, I pop up at my cousin's house. She lives in an apartment in Brooklyn, right? My other cousin, the same cousin that I made call her, I made her ring the bell and get on the intercom and say it's me, when it was me and her. So we get up, she buzzes us into the apartment. We get upstairs to her door. She opens the door thinking it's only my other cousin, and it's my other cousin and me, and I bombarded up in that motherfucker. Now my cousin has kids, right? So all of them love me. Oh, Krista, whatever song. You know, I'm mad, I'm furious, I'm angry, but I don't want to give off that energy to the babies, right? So I could see my cousin is like super surprised that I'm there, and she looks terrified, right? So her kids are there. She's telling her kids, oh, y'all go in the room, whatever. I want to talk to, Crystal and then my other cousin, right? So they go in the room, whatever. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, yo, do we have a problem? So my cousin's like taking a deep breath, whatever. She's like all distraught, like this drama, like she's about to cry. I'm like, yo, I am not playing with you. I'm not here for all the dramatics. Like, where the fuck is my bag, right? So she's like, Crystal, I really don't know what happened to the bag, right? So now my heart is beating fast because I'm about ready to kill her. Like, I made you promise me that you was going to protect this bag. And see, this is family. I don't give a fuck who it is. In your gut, when your gut is telling you not to do something, don't do it. Don't do it. Because my gut told me not to let this girl hold my bag, right? So my other cousin knows that I'm like fuming, right? So she's like, yo, calm down, Crystal, like, it's only a bag, she'll pay you back, blah blah blah. And I'm like, she's fucking never gonna pay me back. She has little fucking kids. She can barely afford to take care of herself and her kids. She's gonna pay me back? She's gonna pay me back $1,200? When? How long am I gonna be waiting for my money? Like, my cousin is trying to like make it out to be not a big deal, like making it like, oh, it's just material things. Yes, it is a material object, but if it was your motherfucking material object that you spent your motherfucking coins on, that you worked for days and months to save, to get, included y'all little stink asses in the process of the whole Louis Vuitton experience, And then you're gonna tell me that, oh, it's just a material object, and then you're avoiding me. You didn't even come to me on some real G shit and say, yo, cuz this is what happened, I'm gonna do everything I can, or what. Nothing. You basically tried to avoid me and play me like I'm some poo putt, and then like I wasn't gonna show up at your doorstep. Like, you're my cousin. I have shown up on a doorstep some motherfucking bitches that carried Glocks. So you think I wasn't gonna show up on your doorstep? Okay, you got me confused. Don't listen to what I just said, y'all. It was too much information for y'all. But anyway, so I'm like walking around the house, right? And I'm trying not to like be angry, because I wanted to slap shit off her counter. I wanted to kick her couch, like Charlie Murphy did Eddie Murphy's couch. Like, I was ready to just be fucking violent as fuck, because I was so hurt and I was so angry that I lent this shit to this girl, and she did not give a fuck, and she did not care really. So after a while, she's pretending like she's crying. It wasn't even no real cry. And again, her kids are there. I didn't want to make such a big scene in front of the kids. And I'm like, okay, so what's up? What you gonna do? What you gonna do to fix the situation or whatever? And she's just like, yo, cuz, like, I'm gonna pay you back, I promise you, even if I gotta get another job. I'm like, how are you gonna get another job? The job that you work now is working you with too many hours. You don't have enough time with your kids. Who's gonna run me my money, right? So I was just so mad. I was like, yo, you need to figure this shit out. I'm going to contact you in a few days, and you need to have a plan on how you're going to either give me my bag back or you're going to get me my money back, right? So, basically, I left both my cousins there because I just couldn't. I go home. I tell my boyfriend, who's my husband now, the situation, and he's like more upset than I was. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, I'm so sorry, yo. I'm sorry that happened to you. He's like, yo, I promise you, that I can get you another bag, whatever. He was the same thing. We was in school, we was on our grind. We was about to get married. Like, nobody was thinking about no motherfucking having to replace no $1,200 Louis Vuitton bag. We had other goals, you know what I mean? So, like, he was so hurt for me that my bag was gone. In his mind, he's thinking like, okay, how can I replace her bag, when it wasn't even his fault? Like, he's just such a good dude, you know what I'm saying? And eventually, as y'all know, he did replace it, but nonetheless, so time had passed, and I run into a chick that's friends with my family, right? This chick happened to be at the same event that my cousin is at, right? So I'm talking to her about something else, like random, whatever. And she was like, oh, yeah, because I saw your cousin A at the event, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, oh, word? She was like, yeah. It was a nice little event. And I was telling her, oh, girl, you moving up in the world. You walking around with Louis Vuitton bags and shit. So I wasn't going to blow my cousin's spot up and be like, oh, that was my bag, right? So I'm just listening, because I'm listening to whatever the fuck she's saying, what happened at this event, right? So she's like, that's what she said. She was like, oh, she was popping that night, whatever. She was in there with the girls that be having all the designer stuff. She was just as popular. And I was like, yeah, she doing big things, blah, blah, blah. She goes, but wait. So I'm like, my ears perk up or whatever. I'm like, what you mean? She was like, but why she was in there with some dude that I never seen before, not her kid's father, was in there with some dude I never seen before, and he was like asking her how much she wanted for the Louis Vuitton bag. So I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah. She was like, yo, I found this so strange, because he basically was asking her, he would pay her like how much she wanted for the Louis Vuitton bag. He was gonna buy the bag off of her at the event, right? So I'm like, nah, you kidding me, right? She's like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I was standing right there, and I heard them, and she was basically negotiating like how much money she could get for the bag, right? So I'm like, well, did she sell it to him? Meanwhile, y'all know I'm furious inside, right?
I'm furious because you're at a fucking event with my bag on, negotiating how much money you gonna get, because somebody's gonna pay you for my bag that you didn't even put $1 in. So you're about to come up because somebody's gonna pay you cash for this Louis Vuitton bag, and now you have the cash, but you basically selling your cousin's bag. You don't have no fucking respect for me. You don't have no respect for yourself. You have no respect for your family. What happened to code? All this shit, right? So I'm continuing to listen. And our girlfriend, the friend of the family, she's basically like, yeah, I saw her take all her shit out the bag. Basically, she went and asked for a plastic bag, and she sold that bag to that that ninja, right? And I'm like, word? So she was at this party and she had her stuff in the bag. She took her stuff out the bag and sold the bag to the dude. She's like, yeah. She's like, I thought it was weird too. And supposedly at that time, which I had no clue, that bag was like very popular. Like everybody wanted that particular bag. And I guess the dude was going to buy the bag from her so that he could give it to a girlfriend. I don't freaking know all the details, but this is kind of what we came up with, like the whole story. She sold my motherfucking bag to some stranger dude at an event for cash and then lied, right? Okay. So I get the deets from the girl, whatever. We started talking about something else. I was like, yo, that's crazy. I'm gonna talk to her about that. She's like, oh, don't tell her I said that. And I was like, no, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say you said it. Whatever. She's like, all right, good looks, whatever. So we had some family function coming up or whatever, and I knew that I was gonna see her, right? I didn't even tell my husband because I knew he would have been fucking livid, right? And I didn't want him having that energy or anything like that towards, my cousin. So I just didn't say that part of the story. I have to hurry up because these mosquitoes is out here wild crazy. Even though I sprayed myself, that shit ain't work. So I had this function. I think it was like a barbecue or something. Somebody must have been having a birthday party or whatever. I see her at the function, right? Meanwhile, she still ain't contact me about how she gonna give me my motherfucking money back or whatever. So she comes up to me at this function and she's like, yo, cuz, like, man, like, I've been wrecking my brain trying to figure out, yo, how I'm gonna get you this money back. Like, she's like, yo, I ain't been able to think of nothing, She was like, oh, it's gonna take so long, whatever. Y'all know what she offered me? Because my cousin knows how to do hair. She's like, because, yo, I could do your hair for, like, the next year for free. Bitch, what? What? You're offering me to do my hair that you was already doing for free for the most part if I needed you to do my hair. This is what you're offering me in exchange for, now that I know that you sold my Louis Vuitton bag? You stole it, really. That's what you did. You stole it because even though I gave it to her, I feel like she stole it from me. Because the fact that you would have the audacity to sell my bag at a party to some stranger so you could get the cash. Right? Anywho, so I'm looking at her like she's fucking crazy because now I'm about to knock her clear out because not only are you insulting me, now you sitting up here with this bullshit talking about you gonna offer me to do my hair for a year. I was like, yo, cut the shit. I know what happened with the bag. She was like, what you mean? Whatever. I'm like, you didn't sell my bag? Whatever. She's like, sell your bag? Why would I do that? Like, who told you that? I say, yo, hey, did you sell my motherfucking bag? And if you lie to me right now, I'm gonna fucking cold cock life, smack the shit out you, right? And she was like, yo, don't hit me. I'm like, did you fucking sell my bag or not? And then she was like, yo, cousin, like, I can't tell you, like, breaking down, y'all, like, the dramatics on a fucking 100, breaking down, falling down to the ground, grabbing her chest, oh, my cable's due, oh, my gas is due, dude offered me so much cash money, and I figured you wouldn't miss it, or I figured you could get it back. So it wouldn't be a big deal, I would just say that it got stolen or something like that. I didn't think it would be such a big deal. I never thought that you would find out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm really standing there, you guys, and although I was angry, I was definitely hurt. I was super hurt on the inside that my flesh and blood thought that much of me, or not that much of me, that they would take something that I worked really hard for and didn't want to lend it to them, but did out the kindness of my heart because I wanted my cousin to shine. I wanted my cousin to be able to, stand 10 feet tall with the rest of these bitches, and not feel awkward or less than because she didn't have, something designer, out the kindness of my heart. And she thought that much of me to take my fucking bag, sell it to a stranger, avoid me, don't own up to it, and then lie to me, and then give me a whole dramatic story about how you thought it wouldn't be a big deal because, I could just get another one, or I have a man, he could just buy me another one. Like, I had to walk away because I really, like I said, although I was hurt, it was like that angry hurt. And I felt myself like about to strangle her. And I wasn't trying to go to jail. I wasn't trying to go to jail for her or nobody. And I had to leave. I went home, a whole grown-ass woman, and I cried into my pillow. Not over the Louis Vuitton bag, although I was fucking furious about that. But I cried more so because I couldn't believe that my family member would do such a thing. Because I wouldn't even do that to a friend. So to do it to somebody who's supposed to, I basically raised you, yo. I raised you. I made sure you were safe. I saved you from dudes that was gonna, y'all don't know a lot of my story, a lot of my history, man, but I've basically been a rock to so many people in my life. And when you give so much of yourself to other people and they give you dirt, they give you their ass to kiss, they give you, the middle finger, like, and it's constantly take. You know, it's very taxing. You know what I mean? It's very taxing on the soul. You know, and to this day, we don't really have a great relationship because it's not. Again, it was a material object. I ended up having that bag again multiple times. It wasn't the bag, it was the principle. To this day, I have never received an apology. I have never received like a decent conversation to say, yo, I made a stupid mistake, you know, back then, like, yo, I hope maybe I could take you out to dinner, maybe I could buy you a gift card. Nothing at all. And this particular cousin, even after that, would still call me, oh, I don't have food in my refrigerator, oh, I don't have gas money, oh, my kids need blah, 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 blah. And I would, even when I was struggling myself, you guys, like, I literally didn't have my shit together until, like, 30s. It took me that long to kind of get my shit together, you know? And it's because I really had just me, like, trying to figure shit out. I'm not going to say, like, I didn't have family, I didn't have support. I had it, but not really. Because even when you have all these people around you, or whatever, family or whatnot, if they're not on it how you're on it, if their goals are not your goals, if their focus is not your focus, then they're useless. They're useless. My goals were never the same as everybody else in my family. My family whole shit is like, get you a rich dude, or, you know, somebody, have a baby, you know, whatever. Like, no. Like, I'm trying to get an education. I don't want to just be a basic chick. I don't want to just have enough money to survive. I want to have enough money to live. I want to have enough money so I don't have to work at a certain point.
My goals and your goals are not the same. You understand? It is so sad, you guys. And it is so sad when you are just a good person and you want to see the best for everybody. Friends, family, whomever. And then people just don't care. You know, when people don't have to work hard for anything, or when people have not, you know, spent their own hard-earned money to get certain things. I don't give a shit if it's a bag, if it's a bunk bed, if it's a chicken wing. If somebody's always doing for you and you don't have to work to do for yourself, you do not have the same appreciation as if you had to do it for yourself. So that's my story. It's a sad story, but a true story, and I will never forget it. And like I said, unfortunately, that cousin and I do not have a great relationship. What is that noise? And it's unfortunate because it didn't have to be that way. We definitely could have nipped this whole shit in the bud many years ago. But to this day, she just don't give a fuck. She just don't care. And she doesn't think that she really owes me an apology. And she has said this to other people in my family. Oh, why she cares so much? She had it. It wasn't a big deal. Like, I needed the money. Like, it was like no big deal. It was no big deal because you assumed that, oh, I had it. So fuck me, fuck my bag, fuck that I had to save for months to get something that I wanted for myself. Fuck all that. It's just, you were selfish, you wanted to stunt, and then you decided that you was gonna make a quick buck. Child, let me tell you something. Family could be the worst people, okay? Family could be the worst people in your life, but I try not to dwell on it. You know, I have been super blessed in my lifetime, and I'm going to continue to shine. I'm going to continue to live my best life because I don't operate from a place of like envy or hate or jealousy or anything like that. Anything I ever want, I'm going to always work for it. And if I can't get what I want when I want, then I'll set me a goal. I'm never going to use anybody. I'm never going to steal from anybody. I'm never going to do that. And this is why it's so hurtful to me when other people do shit like that and they think it's okay or they think it's no big deal. Like, I couldn't even live with myself if I did some grimy shit like that, especially to a family member. Thank y'all for listening. I don't know how long this little story time is, but I'll speed it up as much as I can. And I'll be back with more story times. This is my real life shit. It sounds crazy as hell, but this is some real shit that has happened to me. Y'all be good. Y'all be well. I'll see y'all in the next one.